Alright, so this tutorial, it's just a warm-up tutorial for you to do before you like get into anything. You know, there's people who just don't do firing range that much and just do like regular arenas or ranked arenas to warm up. Or just like duos and trios a bunch for like 30 minutes to an hour or something to
Wings
warm
out.
up. But it isn't that efficient, I feel, at least for me. So yeah, there's different types of plays, a lot of different types of Apex plays who feel the same.
Wings up.
I know that for a fact. Also, for me, it's hard to wall bounce with this Valkyrie. I'm pretty bad at the timing. Let's switch. TTV, by the way. TTV moment. Let's go. Before I start with my warm up, I'll do this. I like doing that a lot. It's really good for getting over walls. Like, so instead of climbing up like that and then you get your head beamed in by somebody over here waiting for you, all you really have to do is that you have whatever gun you're using, and you just have to wall bounce, look over. I can't do it for some reason. I'm sorry. So you just do what I did before, and it's really helpful because when you do the wall bounce over and you do it like perfectly, you don't have to do a climbing animation. And even if you do your climbing animation, you can still shoot. Like you can still shoot. So you have to hit fire for it. So you have like a 301 or like an R9 or even a flatline would do from some closer range like this. You just get hella body shots and then you start aiming down sights. So you either have to get lucky for them not to use like a Havoc or a Charged Rampage or something else that does a fuck ton of headshot damage compared to the gun you're using. And yeah, damn, shit. Yeah, you just have to hope that they're not using a gun that's better than yours or just has better aim than you. Because if they do, then you're screwed. And they just have to do it fast. It's not that hard to do this. You just wall bounce. You just basically slide, jump, wall bounce, and you just get over. It's gonna take a little while to get used to, but once you do that, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's great for it's great movement. It's a great movement thing to do. It definitely pays off a lot. Just because it's like equal, you feel me? It's fast enough so they just can't hit all headshots on you. And also, like if you do it right, let's just say you do it, you can just super glide instantly. So if you just like super glide at an angle towards them, almost into them, and you have a peacekeeper, easy 120 to the head, easy 100 to the head. You turn on them, just hit fire with a flatline or whatever main weapon you're using, and it's peak. Fucking amazing. Like just 10 out of 10. But yeah, so I'm gonna get into the the quote unquote tutorial, the warm up, and it should be really helpful. It is really helpful for me. I know what I mean it is. It really is. Like it it has your aim like spot on almost. And I'll just tell you each gun. I do have a slight order you go into, and I'll just tell you that at the end, and I'll explain it like simplified in the end.
Good. Got my ultimate ready. Frag out.
So yeah, if you play Apex and you watch with me, or you watch this video, hope that it works. I really hope it does. So first, you want to use an R301 and an R99, and you just shoot around at these targets. You shoot at these two, this close range target, and you shoot at these bots right here. And whenever you shoot at the bots, I prefer you don't have a mag on to make it so it's just you get used to not having to use like it makes it more difficult for you to one clip it. So you can use a mag if you want to one clip it, but if you pick up a gold mag, you're gonna one clip it like every time. Like there's no way you don't one clip it every time with a gold mag on. So I recommend you don't do a gold mag so you can learn how to so you just it helps with trying to one clip without any extra bullets. And yeah, it's especially when you have like a barrel stabilizer on it, like you're gonna one clip somebody with the purple barrel stabilizer and a gold mag on it. So with every gun you use, you don't use any attachments besides an optic on it, and that's after you put out some rounds. After you just shoot. So basically, you just shoot at the targets. Just, medium range, like the close range one, the medium range ones. I prefer you don't go to the further range ones until you get an optic on it. You still can. It's just gonna be a lot harder. Like I can't do the further range one. The most I've got was like 120 on the far range ones without an optic. I prefer you only with the 301. I prefer you do like 300 to 400 rounds into targets, like the close range, the far range, like the close medium, and your best bet is just doing the moving targets one. Even though they're not that hard, you should still do. You should mainly be doing the medium range and the moving targets. You can do. I'm not saying you don't do the close ones, but they're just like super easy. Like you can one clip them every time. And yeah, you just do your thing with this. And then once you feel like you're good with the R301, because R301 is like top 5 easiest guns, like top 3 easiest guns to use. That's not a care package weapon. And the same thing for the R99, but you usually don't do the further targets. You just do the close targets, because nobody's one clipping those targets unless if you're jitter aiming on PC. You're not gonna one clip something like that from far range. And even if you are jitter aiming on PC, you're most likely not gonna one clip it still. So yeah, so that's embarrassing. So yeah, you just go back and forth between these two. You do the close targets. Actually, and one of my things I don't like to do is the close target with the R99, because you just have the 2 dummies. So yeah, you just shoot at the dummies, and then you do at the medium range targets and the moving target. And I prefer you do the like 150 to 300 rounds with the R99. And you can do more with the R99, but I just prefer 150 to 300, so you're not sitting here all day just doing, 1,000 rounds per gun. And with the R99, it is really hard to do a one clip with it on a dummy. Like you have to hit almost all headshots with it to do a one clip with it. And you have to be relatively close, because I suck with it from further ranges. Like I don't suck that bad, but like I'm not gonna one clip every time. But I am still relatively good with it. Like I'll miss a little bit, but besides that, I can do really good with it. And after you finish with the light guns, I'll do a little bit of it a few times. But yeah, I don't prefer using barrel stabilizers, because it's gonna slow down the process a little bit for you trying to get better with this with no attachments. It's also the goal not to use attachments in the first place. And after you use those two, I don't recommend doing the P2020, because it's useless. You're not going to be using a P2020 in a late game on RE45. And then we move to the flatline. You move to the flatline. You don't have to use the Hemlock or the Prowler. You can if you want, but it's super easy to use.
I'm out of heavy ammo.
Like it's stupid easy to use. And the Hemlock, it's the Hemlock coming out. It's also easy to use. People don't use it much, and I don't use it
I'm out of
much either.
heavy ammo.
But it's so easy to use. So those two I don't prefer you using. The already easy or the 30-30. 30-30s you just get better with it over time. But yeah, you just use a car in the flatline first. You just grab hella ammo. With the car, you do use more ammo with the car. Like a decent amount of ammo with the car. But I prefer you use it more with the R99 because I don't know which one has more recoil, but for me, it's harder for me to use the car than it is for the R99. So you can use as much as you feel, but I would say about 200 or 200 to 400 bullets with the car, just slightly more than the R99. But with the flatline, you work on the dummies like usual, and you just do mid-range, like the R301. But for this, I prefer you do the further targets though. The further targets are going to help you get better a lot more after you get used to the recoil patterns and you do mid-range a lot. Over time, you should get really good at with the flatline. And I prefer you start using the flatline over the 301 because it kills faster with body shots than it does with the 301, since it does more damage. It's better than the 301 in my opinion. The only thing that's better with the 301 is maybe headshots and fire rate, and it does have easier recoil, but when you compare statistics with people like hitting the shots, nobody's hitting all headshots. You have to be like top like 200 in the world to be hitting all headshots with a 301. Even though it's easy to use, nobody's hitting all headshots. So, and also the 301 gives you a reason to try to aim for the body. Like it pays off for hitting the body if you're not that good with it. And it's just once you get so good, like for me, I've been doing this practice for a while, and I'm actually able to control the 3 times somewhat now. Like I used to not like able to use this at all for the 3 times, and now I can't. It's like hella hard. Like one time I did this, I just sat in here practicing with the flatline for like 3 hours straight because I wanted to try to one clip one of those targets in the back, and I finally was able to one clip it with a gold mag, red and purple, with the 3 times. I'm still not great with it, but I can still like the most I've hit for it after like with this is like 200. Like you just saw me hit for 152. So yeah, I can hit more with the 3 times now than I used to be able to. It's been helping a lot with this. And yeah, you just practice on the dummies, you practice mid range. Eventually, once you get good enough, you are able to do far range, but you're not going to be able to do far range for a while, for like a pretty long time, to be honest with you. And the car is better than the R99. It also has alternate ammo types, so you're chilling. Like, I used to be absolutely ass cheap with the car. I'm still not great with it, but I'm way better than I used to before. Like you see my recoil there, it's actually pretty good with it. So I do prefer you practice on the dummy in close range for like, I'd say this may sound like a lot to you, but I'd say you practice on the dummy and the target for at least like a week and a half. Like that it is a pretty long time to be practicing for it, but like for me, it's hard to use. And I don't know if it's gonna be hard to use for you. You may be used to it, so you don't have to do it for like more than like a couple days. But I do prefer at least a week for the close range target and the dummy. Like, and I can hit for like a solid 100 for the dummy stack. I just hit for 234 because I've been practicing close range with it. I got used to the recoil pattern from practicing the close range targets. But I can't hit far range for this for sure. 65, that's alright. But realistically, you're not gonna be using the car from this range.
Let's
That's
explore this way.
how long? 117 meters. So yeah,
Never mind.
you're not gonna be doing that. So you're chilling on this one.
Let's go this way.
Like how long is this? 50 meters. You're gonna be using the car for like 60 meters at the max, and you're not gonna be using it for 60 meters. You're gonna be using a flatline with a bruiser for 60 meters. And you know it's just gonna kill better. So yeah, you just do close range for like a week or so, a week and a half. Once you get used to it, you're gonna be able to hit like for almost like 200 with it, like 100, and you're gonna be hitting for a solid 150 once you get used to it. And after you get done using your flatline in your car, you use the rampage, and then you use the wingman. And you know, people are out here crying their ass off talking about the rampage is toxic. Yeah, it's gonna be toxic if you use a rampage. Just don't use the with a thermite. Like, just don't use a thermite. And one of my favorite combos to use is the R301 or the R99 with the rampage, or even the car with the rampage if you do slide ammo with the car. Like either the car, the 99 or the 301 is really good compared with the rampage. Like it shreds. Like, and you don't even have to use a thermite, even without a thermite. Like you just use the rampage to tag people from further ranges, and the rampage is super easy to use. It's stupid easy to use, even with no stabilizer. This is a dummy. It just goes crazy. And it has a good amount of ammo since it's an LMG. You don't even have to hold it down. Like what I like to do and what I used to do, and I still like doing, is that I do it in bursts. You don't even have to hold it down all the way. And it still goes. Like for me, it's a lot easier to do if they're moving like back and forth and all around, is to tap it and do it in bursts. Like if they're just moving side to side, it still does hella damage, even if you do it in bursts. So yeah, with the rampage, it's relatively easy to use. You don't have to practice with it too much. I'd say about like 100 to 200 bullets or less, even if you want to do less. Like all you have to do is like 2, 3, 4 clips with it, you're good. Like you don't have to do more than like 4 clips with it, and you're fine. And with the wingman, practice on these targets. Just don't do it in a straight line. You can, but I prefer you just do the 3. And once you do that a couple times, try to do headshots with it. It's not going to be easy because you're skipping targets, you're doing it fast. And with this, you do use a gold mag though. It's the wingman, because it's different from everything else. And you can, if you want to use a booster loader to get your 11 bullets. And I've been doing this for a little while. Practice on the target. And then eventually, if you want, you can start doing it on these targets. And you just randomly you do 2 on this, you can do that. Just go back and forth. And if your sensitivity is high, you don't have to stick to those 3. You can just attack multiple targets. Eventually, you will get better. It is hard to do, but my aim still isn't great with it. As you see, I'm doing ass right there. But it is really good though. Whenever I do stream arenas on Twitch, or whenever I'm just playing by myself, like I do great with the wingman. It's not like I do ass, but like it has gotten a lot better since I've been doing this. And one good thing with the wingman is being snappy. That's why I suggest you do these. Because once you're out doing like skipping a target, doing the 3, or just practicing in general with this, on a target and like multiple targets just going all around, just snapping to different targets, is because being snappy with the wingman definitely helps a lot. Because people, they're not going to be standing still for you, obviously. To a certain extent, when you start playing ranked and you get to like gold, even like silver 1, like people are still going to start moving. And they're not going to be standing still. So like they're going to start moving a little bit. So once you get decent with the wingman, you're going to be hitting all your shots up to like platinum. Like until you hit platinum, you're going to be fine with this like basic training and only being decent. Once you hit platinum, then you're going to have to start taking you up a notch or so to actually get better with the wingman. But until then, like you don't have to use the wingman. I rarely use the wingman in ranked. I'm always doing the R301 and the Rampage, or like the 301 and like the Prowler. I'm always doing a good combo. If it's either the 301 with another gun or the flatline. I've started using the flatline a lot more. But once you get done with the heavy guns, using the other guns, the light guns and the heavy guns, you move over here. And you don't do snipers. You don't do snipers or care pack weapons or shotguns, because shotguns, they're easy to use. You just play arenas or 1v1 your friends if you have friends. I only got like 3. But you use every gun here besides the triple take. Okay. And you use the Devo last. You always use the Devo last. That's my rule. Don't ask why it's my rule. It just is. Sometimes it is what it is. But I prefer to use the Vault first, since it's the easiest one here. And the Vault, I only recommend using like 100, 150 rounds on it, because you don't need that. You don't need many rounds. Oh my god, I sucked with that one. Don't worry about that, man. You did not see me do that. But yeah, it is the easiest weapon here. Easier than the R99. It's also part of like the top 5, top 3 easiest weapons in the game. You can use a light mag if you want, since of how easy it is. Even without one, you're going to be hitting all your shots. You just go around medium targets if you want. Moving targets, obviously, you know. You do the close to medium, the dummies. You can practice on far if you want, but like I said before, you're not going to be using an SMG at 100 meters away. So yeah, you're just going to be using like a Rampage or a 301 that's easy to use from further ranges. So yeah, you just put out like 5 or 6 clips of it with the energy weapon. This. Try to one clip some targets with the gold mag if you want to, and you move on from this gun relatively fast. The Havoc and the Devotion are gonna, not the Havoc, the L-Stride and the Devotion are the 2 probably harder weapons to use here for the recoil. And I'll just show you like the recoil. It is relatively hard. I've been using the L-Stride, practicing with it a lot. So for the rare occasion I do pick it up, because I never used this gun ever. The only times I really used it is to troll around and against my friends in firing range, or if I accidentally buy it in arenas, and I haven't accidentally bought this in a century. So I do recommend just practicing with just to be good with it, not if you ever want to use it. Because this gun right here is basically irrelevant. You're not going to be using this shit at all. Like the R99, you can even use the Volt, the Havoc, the Devo if you wanted to, like Flatline. All these other guns are just leagues above it, and even since it is like a good secondary, you still have, I would rather use the Eva over this shitty gun right here. It's not that it's bad, or it just doesn't put out damage. It's that the Eva and the Peacekeeper are easier to use than it, and it puts out more damage. Not the Eva, but if you space out your shots, it's more efficient, and if you have decent movement, even if your movement's bad, it's still gonna put out more damage than it is first. Yeah, it shoots faster, and it's like good. People say it does more shield damage than a lot of other guns for some reason. I'd still rather use the Eva. The Eva's recoil is way easier to use. Even the Peacekeeper, like you can 2-hit somebody with the Peacekeeper. Like I would rather 2-hit somebody with the Peacekeeper you'd have to control the recoil on this. I'll show you the recoil pattern. Okay, it looks easy, but when you're trying to do it, it's you basically just hold down and right slightly, and then you just hold down after a second. Like it's once you get used to it so much, then you don't have to worry about it. But even when you know the recoil, for me, I still struggle on it. And after you don't even have to even use this that much. You just throw on a golden mag, put out like 3-4 clips of it, like only like 2 or 3 clips on it, and you're done. You throw it away. And the Havoc, oh my gosh, the Havoc is such a good gun, even without turbocharger. If you have a good angle on somebody, or you beam the fuck out of them before they do more damage than you, or even if you do slightly more damage, and you just slide or you wall bounce around somebody, you just pull this bad boy out, they're dead, like shredded. And I've been using this gun for the longest. Ever since I started playing at the end of season 7, I was just in love with this gun. And since I've been using it for so long, I'm just hella good with it. The headshots are great on it, just great damage on it. It's just the recoil isn't too hard. A lot of people say the recoil that I used to play with, or I did play with, I just ask people in pubs if they like to have it, and I said no, it's not my type of gun, or the recoil is hard on it. And then they'll go right ahead and use an R99 with no barrel stabilizer and be like, oh nah, the Havoc's hard to use. Like, are you kidding me? You're probably gonna use one gun that's difficult and then say this one's more difficult than it, even though it's not. Like, it's great medium range, it's great close range. It's just great in general. I don't, the 2 to 4 on it and the 3 times just looks disgusting. It's not good at all. The most I'll use on it is like a bruiser, and even then, I'm not a big fan of the booster either. I think I'll use it every once in a while if I have to. Like, the only time I use a bruiser on it is to practice, because it makes it feel like it's more difficult. But I'll mainly just use the iron sights or 1 time on it. I'll just like mess around with the bruise on it if I feel like it for some reason. But yeah, the bruiser, I mean not the bruiser, the Havoc is relatively hard to use. I feel like the recoil pattern for it. So I get why people think it is hard to use, but like I'm better at using this than the R99 though, for some reason. Because even though the R99 is easier than this, like I mean, this is easier than the R99 for me. I'll still like pick up on R99 more. Over time, it just got burnt into my brain, so it's not as hard. Like, I am missing a lot of my shots, but towards the beginning of it, like, even without a gold mag on it, it still puts out a crap ton of damage. It still puts out 430 damage without a gold mag. That's crazy to me. Like, use it's just such a good gun, and it's underused a lot. And the last gun you use is the Devotion. And hear me out. Even if you don't use the Devotion, even if you absolutely despise this gun and you never use it, I started using it a little bit in ranked, just because, like, for close range, if I can't find any other good guns, or even if I just feel like it every once in a while, you just slap a 1 time on it, slap a gold mag, and just use the turbocharger, and try to control the recoil. The recoil is it's super hard to use. To control. like it doesn't seem too hard. You just hold down right and then use down left. But when you're actually trying to do it, it's just nasty. It's just it's harder than you think. It looks easy and it sounds easy, but until you try it, it's all fun and games until you do it. And bro, imagine trying to use it 4 times on this though. Like holy crap. And they try to go far range with it. Oh no, I can never do that. But like, let me go to the dummy. Let me shoot the dummy. Oh my god, we don't talk about that. Forbidden knowledge. That was sad. It just deletes people though. Like it real does. It's like the Havoc. Better than the Volt. Way better than the Volt. They're both better than the Volt. Like I would pick a fucking Havoc over a Volt any day. I want to compare them. And then we pull this out. Just get a one-time on this. Like I missed him with it. Like this kills faster with headshots than the Volt. Let me just do this, not the Volt. It kills a little faster. Even for body shots, I think the Havoc still kills faster. Just headshots it kills faster, body shots it kills faster. Easier recoil pattern for a lot of people for the Havoc. Like you can't really tell because I just hit all my shots with both. But I've been using the Havoc for longer, so it's just easier for me to use in general. But yeah, that's basically my tutorial for warming up. You used to use the R99 and the 301 for tap strafe much, and then after you use the R99 and the 301, you use the car, the Rampage, and then you use the Flatline in no specific order, but for, in my opinion, just use the Wingman last for that. Just trust me, it's a lot easier to use the Wingman last than it is from going from the Wingman to the Flatline. And after that, in no specific order, besides the Devotion being last, you use the Havoc, the L-Star, and the Volt. So that's basically what my warm-up is. And also, you don't rush it. That's my thing. Is just don't rush it. Even after you just go through this normally, if you feel like you want to practice a gun more, like let's just say you want to practice, I don't know, the Wingman more after you finish your warm up, go back to the Wingman. Don't jump straight into a game if you feel like you want to use the Wingman, or just in case you have to use the Wingman. Practice this shit more. Like, hit your shots on it. Go and just do some more shots. If you feel like you need to use the R99 more, go ahead and use it before the actual game. You're probably gonna use an R99 in your loadout more than you are gonna use like a Wingman. Let's just say. It's like go in, practice some more, hit some more shots. Like, it doesn't even have to be like another 200 rounds. Go and do 100 rounds if you want. Go and try to one clip. Maybe if you're bad with the R99, maybe go in until you can actually one clip with no attachments on it, with no mag on it. Like, come on, man. What are we talking about? Just keep practicing. Go around. If you feel like you need improvement with like the car or whatever gun after your warm up, go put another 100 rounds in it and shoot it out on dummies and the targets. And then after that, after your warm up, then you should be fine. Just like, go through the warm up, take your time, You know, I gave my suggested amount of rounds for each gun. For these two, for the R99, I prefer 200 bullets for it. For the R301, I prefer uh 300 to like 450, just to like get used to it. Cause you know everybody, it's like the easiest gun in the game almost. But just in case, just like, just because, just I prefer to do more with it because I did used to use the R301 a lot more, so I practiced it a lot. But I do prefer like 200 to 400 bullets with it, with the R99. And with the flatline, I do recommend 500 with the flatline though. Like I mean dead ass though. So just because it's harder, I would practice more with it.
Frag out.
Say go in. I know 500 is a lot of ammo, but it is better than the R301, and also it's harder to use than the R301, so I would practice more. I'd say after a week, then you can tone down the ammo to like 2 to 400, like I do the 301. But until a little while, I do prefer you use like 400 to 500 with it. But with the Rampage, you only have to use like 300 or less. With the Wingman, only do like 200 or less. And with the car, you use like 3 to 500 too. Just because the flatline and the car are really good weapons, and the recoil patterns are kind of a little difficult, more on the difficult side. But for the energy weapons, you just do what you want with them, honestly. With the L Star, you can do like 100 to 200 on, just be light on the ammo. Like the Volt and the L Star be light. Just do 200 or less because they're easy. But with the Havoc and Devotion, use a lot. Like I mean a lot, like 300 plus, like 3 to 500, like the flatline. And even if you want, use more, because these two weapons, they have harder recoil patterns, especially the Devo. Like until you can hit almost every shot mid range with the Devo, I would. And then once you can do like every shot on a target with a gold mag, that's only when I would tone it down, when you can like one clip consistently with it. Just because using this gun, since it's really hard to use, if you use a harder recoil pattern, eventually all the other ones that are easier to use would like slowly start to get easier to use. Like like with the flatline Devotion, just naturally you'll get better with the easiest stuff if you use the hardest stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. And just slowly with the SMGs, like the car, the Volts, the Havoc, and the R99 for those main ones. Just start off light with close range and slowly get far range. Because yeah, just slowly start with short range. Once you be able to one clip the dummy, slowly but slowly you'll be able to one clip the dummy with no mag. And with these targets, they're not that hard to one clip. Moving target is slightly difficult to one clip, like more difficult than the other ones. But slowly you'll be able to one clip the medium range ones. Like I didn't one clip it, but I am getting there slowly. And I am able to get like a solid like a 150 on almost every time. Like even if I don't, I'm still tagging for like 66. I'm like 100 almost. And when I do hit my shots, I'm hitting for like 100 plus. And yeah, that's my tutorial. You just use the two right there. You just use everything here besides the 30-30 Hemlock and the Prowler. If you can, you want, but I highly suggest you don't. And yeah, you just use those. Use the Rampage last, like I said. Not the Rampage, I meant the Wingman. I prefer use the Wingman. I meant either the Rampage either first or second to last. But I do recommend doing it first since it's like the easiest one out of every. My internet's ass. But yeah, I do prefer you use it first because it's like the easiest to use here. So you just use the easiest one first. You just put out like 2-3 clips with it. Don't do too much with it. It's easy to use. If you do want to practice it more, you can, but I prefer use it after you finish your whole warm up. Just put 3 clips out and then use it after the warm up. Since it is easy. And that's it. Just don't use the triple take. Don't use the 3 weapons, the 30-30, Hemlock and Prowler, and just don't use the P2020 and RE45 because nobody uses the RE45 and P2020 in the late rounds. In the later game, if you do, you're delusional and you're actively throwing the game for your teammates and you're throwing away your skill level that you could have. So, and that's if you're not trying to get good at the game or just whatever about playing for fun, then you can use them. But yeah, I wouldn't practice shotguns in firing range. The only time you should be practicing shotguns in firing range is if you're 1v1ing a friend or you're just in arenas. I like to disable choke a lot for me because whenever I'm like in a 1v1 and I have choke enabled, it trips me out kind of. So I'm either stuck and not aiming down sight, or whenever I do want to aim down sight and I have choke off.
And for your information.
Oh, just a spam bot. I got confused for a second. But aiming down sight does help me a lot. With choke disabled, it does. It just works. It just works for me. Damn, that was almost a one-clip. Shit. But yeah, that's it for my warm-up tutorial. I hope it helps you. You should try it out, definitely. Don't try it out once and say I don't like this, because, you know, with work comes consistency. It's like going to the gym. You can't go to the gym once and expect results. You have to go for like a week, a month, a year. You feel me? That's how hard work comes. That's how you get better. It's just practice. You've heard that a million times, but I'm gonna be like everybody else, and I'm gonna tell you again, over and over and over. And people don't believe me, bro. That's how I get That's how I got so good at Dragon Ball FighterZ. Like, you've seen my Dragon Ball FighterZ clips. You've seen me play that shit. And if you haven't, go back and look at some of my videos. I posted 2 or 3 today. Like, I play against higher ranked people on purpose on Dragon Ball FighterZ, because I don't give 2 fucks about my goddamn record. I have 500 plus hours in that game, and I have 4,000 matches. I've only won like a third of my matches in that game, and I'm still actively losing almost every day, because I play against people who are 3, 4, 5, 6, even 6 ranks above me. I can beat people who are like the highest rank in the game. Not much, but I can still do it. And I could, like, I beat people who are like 3 ranks above me on the daily. That's why I play against higher ranked people, because like people, I could sit here and play against people who are like 3 ranks above me in my same rank. And I could shoot up to like 3 or 4 ranks above, right? I don't care about my rank. I'm destroying people in the same rank as me, so I'm just happy that I'm having fun in that game, really. But in Apex Legends, I'm hard stuck gold right now. If I took the game more serious, I could probably be diamond by now. If I really like worked my ass off and did fighting range for a couple hours a day, even only for an hour a day, I could hit diamond. I could hit diamond 3 probably if I practice every day. I played this shit consistent, which I do want to start taking the Apex more serious, which I probably will. Yeah, I'll probably try to hit diamond next season. Next fake season. I don't feel like doing it this season. I feel like trying to hit at least platinum, but if I don't, I'm not gonna be too upset and disappointed in myself. But I'm also not gonna be too happy though about not hitting it. Aren't there supposed to be targets over here? I thought there were targets on this side. Am I just blind? There used to be targets over here. Wait, are those it? Oh yeah, they're right there. I missed. I think it was like this. Nah, I missed it. I don't know how you hit those. I can't hit those for shit, but if I just run over here, I can hit those over there on the rock like almost every time. Still boom. I miss those. Not every time, but I do hit those a lot though. I don't know why. It's just way easier than the ones over there. But yeah, that's my tutorial. It helps a lot. It has got me way better and more consistent. And even though I do have to try to do good, like I can't just be laid back and like play. I actually have to focus. But eventually, this will get you at a level where you could just shred it and get like, you can. If you do this, I would say if you did this for like 4 months straight, you're gonna be able to hit like you're probably gonna be able to average like 1,000 damage a game easily if you did this for at least like 4 months at the bare minimum. So if you do want to shred and you want to get amazing, do this. If it doesn't work for you, next stream I do on Apex, or even in general next time, I'll like try it out for like a week to a month. If it doesn't work for you, I'll give you another tutorial because I have multiple warm-ups I work on and do, and this is probably my most effective one. My other two that I have just keep me consistent at the game. It's just a quick warm-up, and I'll tell you that some other time. I'll make a video on it. I'll probably just do my main one. I only have two. There's this third one. The third one I was talking about for my second one I have for my consistent one. It's my friends, but I only do it with them and I don't remember it for shit. So I'll just show you my other one that keeps me consistent. It's quick. It's only like it's like 10 minutes at tops if you're solo. It's only 5 minutes. And I'll tell you that one next time. I'll make its own video. And I hope this helps. And this warm up right now, before I head out and I play some regular matches. If I play some matches and I do good, I'll clip it and upload it. So if you have, turn on notifications if you want to see more content, please. Yeah. Hope you liked it. And yeah. What was it? I had one more thing. Oh, never mind. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. I'll upload probably some Apex content later today or tomorrow. Oh shit, school starts up tomorrow. I'm gonna start going to school again. I took 2 days off. One day my mom just said I could stay, and today I was feeling shitty. I was mainly feeling shitty last night, so she let me stay home, just in case. So yeah.